relationships are made. Here's the other thing. Relationships are made. They're not found. It's not like, let me find the right relationship for me. It's over there, yonder over there. Who's the one I'm going to have the right relationship with? I'm looking for the right one. It's not that. Relationships are made. And where are they made? Well, just like most things, they're forged in the fire. You want to get some beautiful bronze medallions, you gotta forge it in the fire, baby. So we're looking for this person where we're magically not going to have any triggers or problems or shadows or issues with. And when it's not that person, we just look for someone else. But that person that you're sleeping on, it really showed me. It was like, love is everywhere. Love really is everywhere. Love is a choice. Love is a pair of glasses. We can start to look at this exact same world. We could just put on our little pink glasses, love glasses on. Now, all of a sudden, that random person you would have never thought of before, you're starting to see, wow, they have a really beautiful smile. Something's really magnetic about their energy. They might not be love of your life, but you're starting to see them through the eyes of love. See people through the eyes of love. If you want love, start seeing people through the eyes of love. Because that's how it starts. It starts with, rather than seeing them through the eyes of flaw, to see them through the eyes of love. Because when I'm seeing people through the eyes of love, I'm looking for the things that I already love about them, that is love about them. And so guess what I'm experiencing? Love. And the beauty of that is now I don't need to attach relationship with it. I don't need to decide, well, I can only feel the energy of love towards you if we're going to be in a lifelong committed relationship with 2.5 children. If not, poof, cut it off right there. I don't got time for this. I'm waiting for my king, man. So instead, we all want to feel love, but we can all just start seeing everyone as love. You can start feeling love with your friends. You know, one of the gifts that my heartbreak gave me is, before that, I only would experience physical connection with my partner. And I was very not touchy with friends. I grew up Persian, so it's really that's lesbian, and that's what I was trained. So I was if people hugged me, I was kind of here you go. On top of that, I'm a Capricorn, so you can't blame me. But I really didn't like it. It made me feel uncomfortable. My family was not touchy at all. And so for me, then after my divorce, and all of a sudden, the one person I had physical intimacy with was gone. Then, I was alone. I was really by myself, but the heartbreak made me start opening my heart, that just with friends, I start to be more loving, holding my friends' hands and hugging them, and sometimes when we talk, we'll stroke each other's arms. And it was a little by little, gradual. And it was never really this conscious of okay, I'm gonna get touchy. But I just started a little bit, just when people would hug me, just let them hug me, and not kind of do the defensive, raise my shoulder, put my arm up, guard, protect thing that I used to do. And instead just let them hug me and hug them back, really hug them like I loved them. My friends were whoa, that was a real sister hug right there. And they were loving it, because some of my friends are very, very cuddly already. And so they were celebrating it. My friend Mia, who's been on this podcast, every time I'm touching with her, she's I can't believe my eyes right now. You're touching me right now. I'm so happy. And, and I didn't even realize that people noticed that I wasn't a physically touchy person with friends until I started to become that. And they were oh my God, this feels so amazing, And so now that I just have that naturally more with friends, I don't feel that same I need to be in a relationship because that's my only access to love and intimacy, because now I'm seeing that love is everywhere and intimacy can exist in many ways beyond sexuality. Often we're jumping and thinking that we want sex when we really want intimacy. And even the word intimacy in our language is almost synonymous with sex, but it must not. I'm not allowed to use the word should anymore. Let's pin that too. It must not. Because intimacy can be someone playing the guitars and looking you in the eye as they sing with unwavering eye contact. That happened to me. So intimate. Without like a word or a touch, just someone being there and seeing you. I'm like, this is the most intimate thing I've ever experienced in my life. Intimacy can be someone just listening to you talk and hearing your story and being so present with every word that you say. Intimacy can be laughing and role-playing with friends and, acting out situations in their lives and their manifestations and their future partner and what they're calling in. I just spent this weekend doing that with some friends, and it was so beautiful. I was like channeling her future partner and being him, and it was so beautiful that I got to like play that role for her, and it was like so intimate to be able to like be part of her manifestation. Intimacy can look like, like share every morning. My bestie Rosie and I voice note each other what our dream was that night. And we analyze each other's dreams and talk about what our intentions are for that day and what we're grateful for and, what's present for us. And just that ongoing, like someone holding your hand, I'm with you. Intimacy looks in so many different ways. And it's something that as a society, we're really thirsty for. We're so thirsty for intimacy that we rush to sex. And it's like you're so hungry, and then you rush and you eat dessert as the first thing. Like if you're super hungry, you don't want like a massive chocolate cake. Like that's actually going to make you feel kind of sick. Like you want food, you want sustenance, you want nourishment. And that's what we want. We want the nourishment of being seen, of being held, of being understood, of being heard, of being with another, even in silence. But we don't know how to say that. And more than that, we feel that we're unworthy of asking for that because we feel that everyone else is so busy and no one has time for that. But at the same time, we're not even giving that. We say we want to, but we're still not saying yes to the opportunities that we could also just start that. So we're sort of like pigeonholing ourselves of like, I really want someone to see me, but I'm also like not reaching out to people either. And then when there is a connection, which we often just take like physical attraction as connection, which is the one level of attraction, but it's really not the whole thing. And if anything, it's like the most short-lived. And so we're like, once in a blue moon, especially if you're like a conscious woman, it's like, fucking congratulations, you're physically attracted to someone. Like we applaud ourselves when that happens. It's like a once in a fucking year Grammy. But then it's like, okay, great, you're physically attracted to someone. Are they putting in effort? Is there emotional intimacy? Is there conversational intimacy? Is there reciprocity? Oftentimes there's not. But then we negate ourselves and we tell ourselves the story of, well, it's okay. It doesn't really matter. They're busy. This is just for now. I've been single for so long. It's not a big deal. Da, 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 da. We gaslight ourselves into convincing ourselves it doesn't really matter. So then you start, and it's often not a relationship. This is why the word situationship is so big right now. It's situationships. It's you're talking, but you're not dating, but you're into that like there's always like one person who's more emotionally invested than the other. But you're confused about it, but you're still not really dating other people. So it's like you're not getting closer to having a relationship, but you're also not getting like the perks of a relationship. It's just this like weird in between. It's like we breadcrumb ourselves in these situations. And then, we start to let these other parts of ourselves be shown, such as our depth and our emotions. God forbid you actually say that you have feelings for that person. And then, oh, no. I thought we were just friends. I thought this was just cash. Didn't really matter to me. And then the situationship is no longer. And this is so common today. The one thing I'm going to give myself an award for is I have somehow avoided all situationships. Thank you, Lord. Because I notice, and here's how. And if you've been in situationships, you're in a situationship, here's how I have completely avoided them. And it's hard, especially if you're attracted to the person. So let's say you find someone that you're attracted to and you're talking to them. I really, I like to ask questions up at the beginning. I got this from my friend Layla Martin, who shared this with me, of like the first 3 dates, show up as the wife you want to be. Show up as how you would want to be in a relationship. So if you want to be talking every day, talk to them. If you want, to go deep, go deep. If you want to be playful, be playful. Be the version of you that you want to be in that relationship. And if it's too much for them, they're not reciprocating, they're not showing up, it's not a match, then you gotta let it go. And it sucks and it's gonna hurt and there's no way for it not to hurt. But do you know what's gonna hurt even more? Staying in it and trying to change it and wishing it was something else. Because again, you're entering that ship of a relationship. And that ship is setting away. So even though you're yeah, this is just for now, it's not going anywhere. It's just because I haven't met anyone else. So there's nothing else going on. So I might as well just do this right now. Well,